Hey, what's up, guys? It's a brand new episode of the RSL show. I'm Alex, and he's Josh, and we apologize for taking a minute to get back on here and having a chance to talk to you guys and breaking down some RSL stuff. Life's just got a little bit busy. Schedule's got a little bit busy. Couldn't really get together to record, but we're back, and unfortunately, we have to share some not so fun news.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the last episode ever. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, yeah, we're packing it up.
You wish.
No, we're here to talk about the RSL being eliminated from League's Cup despite winning their first game, despite having it all, a pretty easy path to advance against the Houston Dynamo. They couldn't get it done. They unfortunately bow out of the tournament in the group stage. But before we get there, Josh, how you doing, man?
You know, as we were just kind of talking, my desire to record tonight, it's at an all-time low. Not an all-time, but it's a pretty low. Mostly just because I'm very irritated about Monday.
No, I'm right there with you, man. I'm very disappointed with the result. It seems that yet again Real Salt fails to show up in the most important match.
hmm And against Houston, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand what this Houston team has on RSL, but I don't like it. And I hope we can rectify it because Houston is quickly approaching one of my least favorite teams around. And then I don't like that they have our number at all. I don't like that Griffin Dorsey has reasons to talk, right? Like, just not give it to him.
Let's start with some positive news though.
hmm
See if that'll help with the saltiness. We'll start with some positive news. Rouse Lake announced the signing of defender Javen Brown from the Vancouver Whitecaps. Josh, the defensive reinforcements are on the way.
Not a bad bit of business claiming him off the waivers either. He wouldn't have been a very cheap trade. So the fact that we can pick him up off waivers for nothing, it's a good bit of business. A good player. He's been with Vancouver for a long time. Been solid for them. So yeah, it's good depth. I'm a big fan of it.
I want to say 2 years ago, Javen Brown was an emerging star for that Vancouver team. Kind of came out of nowhere, had some really, really good performances, was starting at right back, was starting at center back. Eventually, I think when they moved to the three in the back that Vancouver plays now against under Vanni Sartini, just kind of fell out of favor. Wasn't really in the rotation for one of those three center back spots, and so Vancouver thought about moving him, couldn't get him off the roster. He expressed interest of leaving Vancouver, and then
hmm
so finally they just decided to mutually part ways, and Real Salt Lake takes full advantage of that by bringing in a really solid backup, a really solid depth piece for on the defensive end from Vancouver, like you said, for almost nothing.
Yeah, I'm all about it. And again, this is one of those guys fell out of favor due to like a tactical change. It's not like a personality issue, nothing like
Yeah,
that. So I'm
yeah,
hoping
exactly.
we see a career resurgence out of him.
He showed a lot of really bright spots. I remember watching him when they played against Real Salt Lake. I remember watching Javen Brown, and I thought he played really really well against Real Salt Lake. Those times that they take on Vancouver, an exciting young Jamaican prospect. We'll see. Maybe in a couple. If he's able to resurge that, maybe in a couple of months, we're talking about Javen Brown potentially getting looks from the Jamaican national team.
Yeah,
But he's
potentially
one of
being the
those
starter.
yeah, he's one of those guys that he's still young, he still has a high ceiling, and he still has a lot to give to a group.
Yeah, 100%. So the fact that we could get him for free, kudos. I'm all about it.
Good bit of business.
Yeah, and it's not the free of the Deloitte era where it's this guy's been on 17 teams and can't find a home because of this, that, or the other. Right? This is a very different free. This is one of those, the opportunity arose at the right time. So, I'm all about it.
Good signing, good pickup from Real Salt Lake. We'll give you options to sit Brody, who has had a ton of minutes this season. We'll give you an
hmm
opportunity to rotate with Bodie and Brody. Can also give you a chance to rotate at center back. Like I mentioned, he did play a little bit of center back at Vancouver. He has experience in that position as well. However, Real Salt Lake is getting healthy in that position now too. Eric Holt's back in training. Weirdly enough, Marcelo Silva's back in training, and I mean, hey, huge boost to Marcelo, right?
Yeah,
To
yeah,
go
and
to go from potentially not playing again this year to quickly getting back to training. Absolutely love it for Marcelo, but Javen Brown now enters that mix of potentially another center back.
right, and let's be honest, Marcelo is coming off a fairly major injury. He is aging, right? Eric Holt is Eric Holt, so there's plenty of opportunity there for Brown to get minutes.
Absolutely. And then you look at Quinton, who will also be in that mix, obviously, but center back depth has and right back depth has really grown over the course of the last couple of weeks with Javen Brown coming on.
Yeah, it's what we needed. So let's go.
Javen Brown joins Real Salt Lake, and then after that, Real Salt Lake took on Atlas, where Real Salt Lake won 2-1 in the first game of the Leagues Cup,
It was
which
a
I
very
thought,
fun game.
yeah, it was a good game. It was a fun game. I thought it was a very, very important result as far as beating a Liga MX team.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Real Salt Lake, especially after last season, losing 3-0 to Monterrey at home, I had a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth from that Leagues Cup performance. And for them to bounce back against the Liga MX team, get a 2-1 win at home,
Without
absolutely
Chicho.
without Chicho, absolutely
Mm-hmm.
love to see it. And it set them up well for that Houston game.
It set him up so well, and let's be real. There were moments of that Atlas game that were shaky. I
Early,
think we
early in the
looked,
first, yeah.
yeah, we looked really poor early in the first. A lot of bad giveaways. I feel like they did a lot of what Atlanta did and gave us a lot of space, and we don't really know how to react to that. I know they're also known for man marking, which is weird, but go on Atlas. So yeah, it was shaky. Giving up that first goal was a little rough. Kind of made you worry, but pulling one back before halftime was great. Great header from Julio. But man, can we just talk about how we won that?
Nelson Palacio,
Damn near 80 miles per hour, bro.
what a goal, man.
It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
What a goal. And did you see how much national attention it was
Hmm.
getting from all kinds of outlets, right? From Bleacher Report, from the Cooligans, from ESPN, all kinds of national media outlets were all over that Nelson Palacio goal. And fairly enough, it absolutely deserved it because it was a rocket of a shot that
Yeah.
I never would have thought that would have gone in the way that it did.
No, and honestly, he hit the ball, and it felt like, in a weird way, it felt like 5 minutes before it hit the back of the net, right? You're like, oh, he hit that, it's going over. Oh, no, there's still a chance. Oh my God, it's in, right? It was one of those just absolute beauty. Lost my mind when that went in. That's what we want to see from Palacio. We know he has it in him. So for him to do it, absolutely incredible. And I was hoping he would bring some of that confidence into Houston. He didn't. Update. Newsflash.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Um, he kind of did. His first touch on the ball against Houston was a shot from distance.
It was, but I really like Nelson Palacio.
Yeah.
However, I feel like his play can be very erratic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
A lot of his passes in the first half against Houston were, man, they were put in there with some pace to people's feet, which is good and bad. But when you're trying to play it into someone trying to hold up and work into the box, you don't really want to laser the ball into their foot like he seemed to do. He just kind of felt all over the place. He didn't have a bad game per se, but he didn't put in a performance that would oust a Nelly at this point.
Real quick before we dive deeper into the Houston game, Justin Glad, who gave Nelson Palacio the assist on that rocket to give Rouse like the 3 points against Atlas at home, says that he never thought that Nelson Palacio was going to take that shot, but obviously it paid dividends in the end for us like to get that 2-1. So amazing to see to just kind of the shock on the players as well compared to like us as fans is like the players were absolutely taken
Yeah.
back by that goal as well.
It was wild too because there really was no run up for that. It was
No,
one
there was
step
no
hit,
power.
but there was all the power. So it was absolutely incredible.
Amazing goal from Nelson Palacio. Again, Rouse like gets the win against Atlas 2-1. You get the 3 points. You're sitting at the top of the table of the Leagues Cup group. Houston yet to get a win. Atlas at this point just kind of has to sit back and hope for the best. Rouse Lake heading into Houston, you have a couple options.
Mm-hmm.
You get the win, you win the group.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. You lose 1-0, you win the group, and Houston still can't qualify.
Mm-hmm.
You lose 2-1, you win the group, Houston qualifies. You tie, you win the group, you qualify. Whether it's a PK loss or a PK win, you're still in as the top
Mm-hmm.
leader. But you lose 2 goals or more, and you're out. You're on the outside looking in.
We had every advantage going into that game, my guy.
The
Every
amount of scenarios that Real Salt Lake had to be the leader without even winning.
Yep. But instead, what do? We lay an egg. An absolute egg.
The one thing that Real Salt Lake could not do. And they did.
Yep. Can't get blown out. Can't put in a stinker of a performance. It was infuriating, man. Like, yeah. I'm not happy about it, right? And again, we talked about how I didn't really care if, we won Leagues Cup or did well. But I don't want us to get whooped, right? And we had
Yeah.
no reason to get whooped. We weren't decimated.
Yeah.
It was a good lineup, right? I know it was hot, but bro, just unacceptable. If you truly want to challenge for MLS Cup, you can't be doing that in an elimination game, essentially.
That's where I'm upset. It's not the fact, because I mean, in all reality, I don't care about the Leagues Cup.
Right. I
But
don't like
it's
getting my ass kicked by
there
Houston.
exactly.
Yep.
It's losing to Houston the way that you did. It's most of the first half. It looked like the team was ready to have their 3 weeks off.
Yep.
There was no urgency. There was no. The passing was just not good from Real Salt Lake.
Turnover central, dude.
The fact that leading up to this tournament, the club, the players, the coach were touting that this is a competition that they want to compete in. This is a competition that they want to go far in. This is a competition that they want to win. And to show up and perform like you do not want to be there, that's where I'm upset. That's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah, they absolutely looked checked out, like they had all made vacation plans and were ready to go. There's no other way around it. Like, we are a better team than what we saw.
Yeah, I mean, the entire season the Real Salt Lake has had proves that. We've seen them play amazing, amazing, beautiful football, and we just did not see that in Houston.
Well, we either see amazing, beautiful football and cardiac arrest type finishes, or we get destroyed.
Yeah.
There's no real in between. You know?
Yeah.
The amount of multi-goal losses we've had this year in the form we're in, it's kind of concerning. I will give it to Houston, right? And a little bit on our end. Like, the goals they scored were fairly pretty and fairly well defended, right? But again, where's our chance creation? Our actual chance creation? Where's our finishing? You know what I mean? It's scary when we're not clicking. And again, I'm sure the team would disagree with us, but I really do think they were checked out mentally.
I mean, I can go down the list of every single player that was on the starting 11 and can talk about how they just weren't up for it. Just didn't seem like they were up for it. Justin Glad seemed like he was turning the ball a lot more than we're used to seeing Justin Glad.
Same with Catranis.
Catranis, who was even subbed out at the break.
Yeah. Gomez felt selfish.
Yes. Yep. Gomez felt, to me, it felt like Gomez was trying. We've had this conversation before. It felt like Gomez was just trying to do too much.
Yeah, Mitch and I talked about this a lot during the Atlas game because I felt like that a lot during that game with Gomez as well. I'm wondering if the noise over a potential transfer is affecting him, right? If he's thinking, okay, if these guys want me, I need to pad my stats and get this done, which never translates well, right? I'm kind of wondering if that's what's going on with Gomez right now.
It very well could be. We're hearing all this noise about Gomez potentially being looked at by teams overseas. Dortmund was in the mix.
Yeah, Leverkusen,
Ajax, Benfica.
Yeah, there's a few.
There's a couple of European teams who have inquired about Andres Gomez, and I'm sure the noise has gone back to him. And it very well could be playing into that because since this noise has began, we've seen a lot more selfish play from Andres Gomez, and that's not what's made Gomez be so successful this year. It's the
Right.
passing. It's the ability to be open for Chicho. It's the ability to take a defender one-on-one on the wing while creating for the guys around you.
Hmm.
That's what's made Gomez successful. It's not this selfish play that we've seen over the course of the last 2 or 3 games.
Right. I can think of 3, 4, 5 instances in the last 2 games where there's 2 guys open in the middle of the box and he's going for the near post shot, right?
Yeah.
Like things like that where my guy assists are still going to get you money, right? The team winning is going to get you money. But let's not do this selfish thing. And I hope that's not, well, honestly, I hope that is the case, right? Because that's an easy fix. But I hope someone's talking to him, right? Trying to figure out what's going on because not good. I love Gomez, but he's starting to get on my nerves a bit.
And I think in this case, it has to be your captain.
Yeah.
Who's going to have to pull him aside and have that conversation with him. Because honestly, man, these performances, these things started happening too once Chicho went out.
Yep.
And Pablo Mastroeni made it clear that Chicho was not allowed anywhere near the team or the facilities during his suspension. So I wonder if not having the guidance of Chicho maybe affected Gomez a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. But thankfully, Chicho's back.
Yeah.
And hopefully, Chicho can right the ship, right? Chicho has the aura and the swagger and the respect that he can talk to Gomez about it, right? So let's hope, man. Let's hope. They got 3 weeks to figure it out now.
And I think with Chicho out, we've also seen teams completely isolate Diego Luna because Luna was a ghost of himself against Houston.
Yeah, but he's double, triple teamed all the time,
Yeah.
right? And in all fairness to Julio, right, there's no real outlet for Diego going forward, right? He can play it back into the middle or go wide, but there's no one holding up the ball in the middle for him to, play off of, get some 1-2s going. So, yeah, it's wild how much we've missed Chicho. And I knew this would happen. I knew all year that there was going to be a stretch, right? But now they have a chance, 3 weeks. Let's right the ship. We got 2 fairly easy matches coming out of it. They got to just come in and kill some teams, right? And get back into their winning ways.
We've talked about how much simpler the upcoming Ross Lake schedule is. You got the 6 games at home, only 3 away trips, including 1 to Houston in September, but completely manageable, especially with 3 weeks under your belt to just hit the weight room, hit the field, and fine-tune everything. Integrate your captain back into the team.
Get the new signings into the team.
Integrate the new signings, which Lachlan Brook still pending, still waiting to come over. Obviously, Javen Brown still on his way. And there might be one more, Josh.
Yeah, it hasn't been officially announced, but, if Tom Bogert's tweeting it, it's probably close. Probably close.
We got a Bogert bomb on Monday morning right before the Houston game, or I guess hours before the Houston game, that had me feeling really, really good.
Yeah. Do you want to teach us all how to say his name again?
Real Lake are apparently in advanced talks to sign their new number 10 DP, who can also play winger. Their new DP, Diogo Gonçalves from Copenhagen.
From Copenhagen. And Benfica before that?
And Benfica
right?
before that. Yep, that's correct.
So not a guy out of the second, third division. This is a guy playing top football, played in Champions League last year. Or
yeah.
No. Was it Champions or was it UEFA?
This is a guy playing this was a guy playing Champions last year.
Yeah, there we go. So that's a fairly high caliber signing for RSL.
Just a signing we've been talking about all summer.
Yep,
just a
signing
signing
we've been waiting for.
Yep, just a signing we've been wanting all summer long. The DP to be filled, hopefully, by Diogo Gonçalves, Portuguese international. And just a few months ago, it seemed like he was scoring Champions League goals against Manchester United, and now he's going to be coming over to Real Lake to help out not only with the goal scoring, but to dish out some great creative opportunities for Chicho, for Diego Luna, and for Andres Gomez.
Yeah. What is this signal for Matt Crooks?
Oh, Matt Crooks is number 2 now on the depth chart.
I think so as well.
Yeah.
You've entered the rotation, my guy.
This isn't a guy who's going to come over and be a part of the rotation. This is a guy who's going to come in and he's going to be your starter.
Yeah, if you're trying to sign him on FIFA, and you're negotiating, he's crucial. He's not
Oh,
important. He's
absolutely,
crucial. Yeah.
absolutely.
So
And it's amazing to see, man. It's. I remember reading the report, and I thought, holy shit, dude, this is the type of signings that we've been begging for.
something that would have never happened prior to the ownership.
Yeah, man.
That this is RSL signaling to everyone else, hey, we're gonna stay competitive. You guys can go sign all these aging superstars all you want, right? Bring in the 35, whatever he is, Royce to LA. You're bringing in Giroud to LAFC. He's also old, right? They're going to be impactful. And it's cool to have that star power, but I really like RSL's way of bringing in young guys that can have a lasting impact, right? You're not getting a year and a half out of them. You're going to get 3, 4, 5 years unless, they really explode and get sold. So I prefer the method RSL employs.
It doesn't matter the star
No.
name. It doesn't matter the star, the attractiveness the star player and the star name is going to bring you for Real Salt Lake. What matters is the star caliber of what the
Yep.
player is going to bring you on the pitch. And we've seen that with Gomez. We've seen that with Luna. We've seen that with Chicho. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yes, Chicho was a name, but he's still giving you top caliber plays. And obviously he's the talisman. He's the goal scorer.
Yep.
But now we're seeing a guy who can come in and essentially replicate what the I guess the impact that Chicho has brought to this team while playing alongside Chicho Dango. You're basically bringing in another guy who can dish out a goal and another guy who can dish out some assists and really create in the attack for you.
Yeah, you're finally finalizing this juggernaut of an offense we have,
Yeah.
right? Putting all the pieces together, and I'm all about it. And he's fairly young. He's not super green and fresh. So he's got experience, but he's not 34, 32, 30 even.
27.
So
27 years
he's
old.
got plenty of gas in the tank, and may not have hit his prime yet. Like, let's be honest. So very exciting signing for me.
I would argue that this signing is just as big and just as impactful as signing a Chicho Dango, man.
I agree. Obviously, his form and how he fits in and meshes with the team is TBD. But if he has half the impact that Chicho's had,
Yeah,
it's a huge signing.
absolutely. Incredibly excited for this guy to come in. Really hope that the deal will be finalized here within the next couple of days, and we'll get an official announcement from the club. But we've been talking about it all summer, man. Every team in the West has bolstered up. They brought in some signings. They brought in some names. One of them scored against Real Salt Lake on Monday with Ponce scoring for Houston, immediately making an impact. So now we hope we can do the same, man. We hope we can bring in a DP who can come in and make an immediate impact on the 24th when Real Salt Lake take on the San Jose Earthquakes.
Right. And Lachlan Brook could come in and make an immediate impact.
Yeah.
Brown could. Benji, yeah. Who's hasn't had an impact on the score sheet, but I think he's been a pretty important piece off the bench. So yeah, I like what we've done this summer. It's different, and I'm not used to it. Right? We get so used to expecting some Monarchs guys and a free agent from Ipswich Town's third team, right? So this is all good stuff.
It's amazing, man. Like I said, I'm incredibly excited for this to get over the line, for it to be finalized and for him to come in, man, because I think he's going to be just a huge signing for Real Salt Lake.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a stud.
Unfortunate that we won't be able to see Lachlan make a debut before the 24th. Unfortunate that we won't be able to see Brown make a debut before the 24th. We were talking about how Lachlan Brooks' debut would most likely come in League's Cup, but that's because I thought Real Salt Lake would make it further.
Yeah, I thought we'd get out of the group stage at least.
Yeah.
Boy, we were wrong. But the bright side is, right, if we're looking at the bright side of things, this will give them all time to acclimate to the team or even get to the U.S., right? So hopefully everything's done and across the line and everyone's here and trained and ready to go, by New England.
Yeah, absolutely. Gives you time, gives you an opportunity to bring in everybody, make sure everybody is training, working with the team, getting used to the team, and so that way we can see him on the pitch hopefully sooner rather than later. Obviously, like I said, Gonzalez still not over the line yet, so the faster that can get over the line, the faster we'll have an opportunity to see him on the pitch. And Real Salt Lake now have one cup left that they're in, and of course, we hope that they go all in for it.
I mean, they're going to have to.
It's the last
It's their
one.
only option left, or otherwise this whole season's been an absolute waste,
Yeah.
which pains me to say, but is the truth. I'm not bitter. I'm not grumpy.
Oh man. Taking a look at the table real quick. I know we haven't seen any MLS action. I know we haven't seen any MLS games go on, but just to keep that fresh in your minds and to keep you guys ready ready to chomp at the bit on the 24th when Real Salt Lake take on the San Jose Earthquakes here at home. LA Galaxy sits in first with 49 points. LAFC in second with 47. Real Salt Lake in third with 44. Real Salt Lake have a game in hand on the Galaxy, while the LAFC have a game in hand on both Real Salt Lake and LA Galaxy. Colorado in fourth with 41. Vancouver in fifth with 38. Houston in sixth with 37. Seattle in seventh with 37. Portland in eighth with 36. And the last playoff spot goes to Minnesota with 33. Again, I still first place maybe slipped a little bit, but not completely out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, if we finish anywhere in 1 through 3, I'm pretty happy. As long as we keep Colorado below us, right?
That is true. That
But
is
1
true.
through 3 I'm happy about. So, I would like us to make a push for number 1. At least make it close, make it tight. 2 would be sick. But top 3 I'll be happy with.
If you get anywhere in the 1 through 3 spots, obviously you get home field advantage in this year's playoffs, but it also sets you up next year for the next edition of Leagues Cups, where they will take everybody's points and put them against each other to see who gets home field advantage in Leagues Cup, which is why we had to go to Houston, because if you remember last year, Houston finished just a couple points above Real Salt Lake in the final standings.
Yeah, I'm real sick of Houston, man.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
real sick of them.
I don't know what it is about Hector Herrera, man, but he upsets me.
Not as much as Steve Clark and Griffin Dorsey. I know Corey Baird's gone. But also, how annoying was it that Andrew Tarbell had the game of his life?
Yeah.
This old
He
man
makes
back
he
there.
makes
Dude, I'm telling you, anytime we end up having to play a backup goalkeeper,
he makes some really good saves.
they have the best game. It drives me absolutely nuts. Ugh. Anyway,
I don't like when Hector Herrera scores ever against Real Salt Lake.
no, but that goal was pretty sick.
It was.
But that thing took a wicked bounce off that ground, and
Yeah.
that one I'm not mad about. Second one, kind of soft defense. Third one, a joke. I don't really want to get into them because I'm cranky. So that's my coverage. Nice professional coverage, guys.
Well, then, how about we have a discourse about Beavers McMath?
I think Beavers has quietly taken GK number 1 slot. Really
Despite conceding more than Zach McMath.
He's conceded more, but not in the ridiculous fashion Zach McMath has.
Zach McMath has some howlers.
Several this year.
Yeah.
And, young goalkeepers will, more often than not, give up some more goals, right? It's an experience thing. The more minutes he gets with that back line, the better his goalkeeping will get. And I think we've hit that point in the season where it's time for him to get those minutes. Would I be surprised if it switches back? No. But right now, with the games Gavin Beavers has started in the last, 5, right? He started a majority. I think that signals, that he's kind of taken that number 1 goalkeeper spot.
I didn't think that Beavers would be starting both Leagues Cups games.
No, and that's unless this was like the conversation when the season started, right? Like Beavers is going to get a good amount of minutes in Leagues Cup.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but it feels like Beavers is the new number 1.
It definitely feels like he's taking it. We've seen him a lot more recently than we did earlier on in the season, right? It was more of just the Wednesday rotations for a little bit there for Gavin, but it feels like we've seen Gavin a lot over the course of the last couple of games.
Yep, and I'm fine with it, right? Sure, he's conceding some. A lot of them aren't really on him, right? You have to look at the quality of the shot versus the goalkeeping. stuff like that. So I'm not concerned that he's going to be a bad goalkeeper in the future or anything. I think he will get better once he gets more comfort. But yeah, I do think he's snuck into that number one spot.
Justin Glad and Brian Vera. Just we're getting that partnership back, but they've conceded a lot over the course of the last couple of games. Are we concerned there? Or is that just again just letting Glad get back into the rhythm of things?
I I'm gonna say it's just him getting back into the rhythm because that's what I'm hoping for. But man, that's a tough one because they've struggled, right? Some soft defense coming at us lately. I don't know. I like to just hope it's mid-season blues. We'll get out of it. I hope. I'm trying to be positive, man. I'm really trying.
What about Matt Crooks?
I really like Matt Crooks. I like what he brings.
There's
Sometimes
there's a lot of people online who are displeased with Matt Crooks.
I don't think he fits into the style of play we play. Right?
I would agree. I would agree.
It's not a good that 10 kind of creator spot. It's not for him. So I don't think that's where he played to begin with. Right? He was more of a deeper lying midfielder.
Yeah,
So
he was playing deeper with Middlesbrough. He wasn't your true and true 10 at Middlesbrough.
yeah. So he's done his best. Right? I think he'll be great off the bench. But I am happy to see we're getting a genuine 10, a genuine creator. I also one beef I do have with Crooks is he's a giant, and I feel like he's very soft in the air,
Yes.
especially defensively.
Yes.
That
Uh,
is one knock that I'll throw.
I think Matt Crooks was right in the mix of that second goal where Michael scored for Houston, the second goal
Hmm.
off the free kick. I can't remember exactly if Crooks was the exact marker or was just near the marker, but it did seem like Matt Crooks, who is the tallest and probably had a chance of making that ball, didn't really make an attempt for that ball.
Yeah, so that's my biggest beef with him. I was expecting a lot more offensively with his height,
Yeah.
and defensively as well. So you know, oh well. Not all the signings are going to work out, 100% perfectly. I do think he's good for the team. But I think, coming off the bench role for him is going to be vital. I just hope he accepts that.
And we'll keep this one quick. So I will just throw out one more question out there for you. The amount of people who were upset and were confused that Chicho Arango didn't start against Houston on Monday.
I was in that camp a little bit, right? I know he's been off for 4 weeks.
He hasn't
Not,
played since July
not by
13th.
choice, right? He hasn't played. So even though he's been keeping fit, and, Lifetime Fitness and or wherever people were spotting him, he didn't really keep it quiet. So I don't feel bad saying that. Match minutes are different.
Yes.
However, it's a very important game. I don't think it would have hurt to start him.
What about Anelli?
I think with the Palacio goal, he kind of earned himself a shot at the starting spot, right? And at least to get some minutes starting. That one I don't have a lot of beef with, right? You got to see some rotation in those three because those guys are putting a lot of miles on their legs. So, I think the result would have been any different? No, I don't.
Rouse Lake crashes out of League's Cup 3-0. Now we have to wait, unfortunately, 2.5 weeks or so for Rouse Lake to play their next game, which will be against the San Jose Earthquakes on August 24th. We'll keep it short. We'll wrap up here. Josh, any last things you want to say or add before we get on out of here?
The next home match better be a dub, and it better be a big dub.
It has to be.
Has to be. We have to come in and make a statement. We have to. There's no grinding out a draw coming from behind winning 3-2 here. We're playing against a very weak opponent.
Mm-hmm.
We need to punish that weak opponent. We need to get Chicho clearly atop of the Golden Boot race. We need to get 3 points, right? Help separate ourselves from the bottom of the pack. We have to win this game, and we have to win it in style.
There's already tiny, small, little alarms going off in my head. But if we aren't able to pull off a result against San Jose, who's at the bottom of the Western Conference, those alarms will become increasingly louder. For sure,
Yes,
for sure.
we do have a habit of underperforming against really bad teams.
So we need to not do that.
Yeah, a sign of growth for me will be not doing that. So here's to hoping.
All right, that's going to do it for us here on the RSL show. Make sure to go follow, make sure to go subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all your socials for the best RSL content. And make sure to stick with us here on the RSL show on the KSL Sports Network.